Thank you, Tony. I got the neatest little gift. I can't wait to show you. Do you remember me the other day telling Gino that I loved her red shoes? Look what someone gave me today. Mark Dumont gave the, isn't that cute? There was a little note saying, you know, when you put your word out, the universe always has a way of supplying it to you. Earbob, I don't know, but it's cute. All right, say this with me. I am open and receptive as I receive this message today. Something I'm about to hear applies to my life. My prayers are answered. My truth is revealed to me through the power of my faith. God is always willing. I know I am able. I am ready to be inspired enthusiastically. Me too. Let's go to work. I had an inspiring moment the other day, Friday. Well, I have them kind of regularly, but Friday I decided that I was going to pick Carly up from this week of middle school, and I had an appointment over in Fullerton. I thought, I'm going to go to Knott's Berry Farm. I've never been to Knott's Berry Farm. Never. Talk about just a whole lot full of inspiration and ideas. One of them that I have to tell you about was you get on this roller coaster, and you go from 0 to 92 in just like from here to that light at the end of the wall here. You're like, whoosh, and then you go straight up, and then straight down. And I was thinking, someone had to be inspired to do something like that. And not only did they have to be inspired, but there had to be something behind the inspiration to make it all come into play. And what is that something that we're talking about when we're talking about being inspired? To live by inspiration means to feel the presence of God at our everyday experiences, to enter into the spirit of things, to enter into the joy of living. See, behind, what I want to do is I want us to go one step further than you think I'm talking about. Follow me. What is the thing behind your inspiration? God. We'll call it, for lack of a better term today, we're going to call it the thing, power, God, whatever you want to call it, okay? I'm actually going to talk about the first chapter in our textbook today, because we usually take the month of September to talk about the first 4 chapters in our textbook because it kicks off our education season that starts in September. So I want to talk about that today. I want to talk about what is this thing that we call God, and how do we use it? What do we get our inspiration from? And by the time it gets to us, where has it started? What was its initial point? But I want us to be able to live with a sense of inspiration so that we feel the presence of God in everything that we do. We bring the joy of God in everything that we do. We say we can bring joy to making meatloaf. You can bring joy to whatever you're doing if you choose to do that. You can bring joy to any situation. I want us to learn today how to inspire one another and inspire ourselves to do that by using that thing that we call God. Now, sometimes people get upset when you say, how can you call it this thing? It seems like, don't call it this thing. That bothers me. But that way we can start to define it, and you can define it personally. Because some people like to call it God. Some people like to call it Allah. Some people like to call it Jesus. Some people like to call it Spirit. What does Daniel Named say? Call it Lord, call it Jesus, call it Bula, call it... he had every name in the universe for this thing that we call spirit. So I want us to learn how to do that joy of living thing. Okay, to suppose that God would create someone in bondage, would leave them bound, would be to dishonor the creative power which we call God. You and I were born with freedom, the freedom of choice. The instrument that we use is our intellect. Where do we get that from? We get it from this power. We're given that power, that birthright. You were born to make free choice. Now, because you were born and given free choice, sometimes we make great decisions, sometimes we make less than great decisions. Either way, you were born with this freedom. To be born in bondage would mean to dishonor the creative power of God. So if you are feeling a sense of lack, a sense of limitation, if you're experiencing some kind of physical illness or disease, if your checkbook isn't where you'd like it right now, It's not that you're dishonoring God. It's just what we want to do now is we want to put you onto that right frame and track so that you're able to experience greater things, because you were never meant to experience this. Some people believe that there is a lesson that I'm supposed to learn from bondage, right? There's something I'm supposed to learn. God, what is it? Here's what it is. Your thoughts brought you here. Your thoughts will get you out of here. What do they say? I came up with this great line last night in the middle of my sleep. I do. I come up with things. And then I think, get up and write them up. And then I think, no, don't. Just what you remember. What makes the gray matter matter? What's that? What makes the gray matter matter? What makes the gray matter do what it does so it does what it does? Have you ever thought about that? I know you probably think I did. It was the roller coaster that set my brain upside down or something. I was upside down too many times yesterday. But really, what makes the gray matter matter? If I'm feeling a sense of discord, if I'm feeling a sense of chaos, which is create havoc all around our system, maybe I can create harmony around all around my system by simply changing what I do and use the co-creative power of the universe that I was born to use. If you are in a place right now where you're feeling grief or you're distraught or you're upset or something's not working in your life, it can be changed. I like to say, and like I did last week, to me last week was very cathartic. I saw people crying when they were leaving last week because we were talking about releasing and we were talking about letting go and forgiveness. Do you remember what we did last week, that whole thing that we did, that exercise at the end of the talk? You know what I felt? I felt like we were actually moving in the right direction. And then I started watching all this political stuff on TV, and I thought, maybe we're not moving in the right direction. Maybe, you know what? I'm tired of looking at red and blue. What happens if you put red and blue together? What do you get? Purple, right? I want us to be purple people. I want us to be purple people. I don't want... Maxie wore purple today. I remember I said I was going to put purple in my talk, and there she was in purple. I want us to be purple people because we can't be bound and dishonor God by taking one track or another. We have the freedom of choice, and we have to be able to see that clearly and make decisions accordingly. I want us to not define ourselves by red or green or Republican or Democrat or any. We are purple people. We take it all because it's all God in action. Isn't it all God in action? Everybody's just talking about taking different actions. That's okay, but see, it's all God in action. I get so excited when I think about that. Okay. Everyone consciously or unconsciously is seeking a relationship with God. Whether you know it or not, that's what you're talking about. When you're feeling ill or when you're feeling, the homeless person on the street is seeking to have a relationship with God. The most elite is seeking to have a relationship with God. What I found fascinating, and I do mean fascinating, is that we are at a point in history in our generational unfolding that people, more than ever, are wanting to have a relationship with God and defining it as such. I don't want to feel lucky. I want to have a relationship with God. I don't want to have to depend on buying the lotto ticket. I want to have a lotto ticket. I want to have a relationship with the infinite. Not that I don't buy a lotto ticket. I'm telling you what, I do buy a lotto. But there's something about seeing $100 million. It's something I have to. Anyway, but, then I'll just build a new church and we'll all go there and play. So anyway, wow, don't believe that, my treasure. I didn't say that. So, where was I? Everyone is seeking to have a relationship with God. Every child, every adult, we're all looking for that. And what I love about that is no one person in this room is on the same path as another person in this room. We may have similarities, but because we all bring this depth of our life experience, because we all bring with us all of our stuff, no two relationships can be the same. So how can we say that, again, go back to red and blue, how can we be so defined as to red and blue when every one of us is purple at heart? We're bringing that with us. And consciously or unconsciously, whether you're aware of it or not, we're always seeking relationship. When something goes wrong and you think the opposite of it, in other words, if something happens in your life and you're thinking, boy, it would be really nice if I had a new relationship or if I had some more money in my, whatever, that's seeking relationship with God.